Raise your hand if you've ever felt that mental health is treated differently for men and women. You're not alone. Mental health stigma affects everyone, but the challenges can look very different depending on gender. In today's video, we're going to discover the unique hurdles men and women face when it comes to mental health stigma. One of the best ways to break these barriers is to understand them, and in this video, we'll take a deep dive into the societal pressures, misconceptions, and real-life stories that highlight these differences. Coming up, we'll explore how men and women experience mental health stigma in distinct ways, why these differences exist, and what we can do to support each other better. Stay tuned because you won't want to miss this eye-opening discussion. Differences in stigma, experiences between genders. Mental health stigma affects everyone, but the experiences can vary significantly between genders. These differences are rooted in historical, cultural, and societal factors that shape how mental health issues are perceived and treated. Understanding these distinctions is crucial for developing targeted strategies to combat stigma and support mental well-being for all. Historical context. Historically, mental health issues have been stigmatized differently for men and women. For centuries, women who exhibited signs of mental distress were often labeled as hysterical or emotional. These labels were dismissive and pathologized normal emotional responses, contributing to a long-standing stigma against women's mental health. Men, conversely, were socialized to be stoic and unemotional. Expressing vulnerability or seeking help was often seen as a sign of weakness, leading to significant stigma around men's mental health issues. Modern-day pressures. In today's society, these historical stigmas persist in evolved forms. For women, mental health stigma often revolves around the expectation to balance multiple roles flawlessly. Women are expected to be nurturing mothers, successful professionals, and supportive partners. When they struggle with mental health issues, they may face judgment for not living up to these unrealistic standards. This can lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and isolation, making it harder for them to seek help. For men, the pressure to conform to traditional notions of masculinity remains strong. Men are often expected to be strong, independent, and resilient. Admitting to mental health struggles can be perceived as a failure to meet these societal expectations. This stigma is particularly pronounced in environments like the workplace or sports, where toughness is highly valued. As a result, men might avoid discussing their mental health issues or seeking treatment, leading to unaddressed and potentially worsening conditions. Societal expectations and stereotypes. Societal expectations and stereotypes play a significant role in shaping how mental health stigma manifests for different genders. For example, women may be more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety or depression due to stereotypes that associate femininity with emotional expressiveness. However, this can also lead to the minimization of their symptoms, as they might be seen as overreacting or too emotional. Conversely, men are more likely to be diagnosed with substance abuse or conduct disorders, partly because these are seen as more acceptable ways for men to express distress. The stereotype that men should be self-reliant and emotionally stoic can prevent them from recognizing their symptoms as legitimate mental health issues. This can result in delayed diagnosis and treatment, exacerbating their conditions. Impact on help-seeking behavior. The stigma associated with mental health has a profound impact on help-seeking behavior. Women, despite facing stigma, are generally more likely to seek help for mental health issues than men. This is partly because women are often socialized to be more in touch with their emotions and to seek support from others. However, the fear of being judged or not taken seriously can still act as a barrier. Men, on the other hand, are less likely to seek help due to the stigma around appearing weak or vulnerable. This reluctance is often reinforced by societal messages that prioritize self-sufficiency and emotional suppression in men. As a result, men may turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms, such as substance abuse, instead of seeking professional help. Gender-specific impacts of stigma. The impact of mental health stigma can be seen in the different ways men and women experience and respond to mental health challenges. For women, stigma can result in underreporting of symptoms, reluctance to seek treatment, and an increased risk of developing co-occurring conditions such as eating disorders. The pressure to conform to societal expectations can also exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and stress. For men, the stigma can lead to severe consequences such as higher rates of suicide and untreated mental health conditions. The reluctance to seek help often means that men suffer in silence, with their mental health issues going unnoticed and untreated until they reach a crisis point. This can lead to a cycle of worsening mental health and increased stigma. Addressing mental health stigma requires a nuanced approach that takes gender differences into account. By understanding the unique challenges faced by men and women, we can develop more effective strategies to combat stigma and promote mental well-being for all. Encouraging open conversations, providing supportive environments, and challenging societal stereotypes are crucial steps in this process. Let's work together to create a world where everyone feels comfortable seeking help and talking about their mental health. Strategies for addressing gender-specific stigma. Mental health stigma affects both men and women, but the nature of this stigma can vary significantly based on gender. Addressing these gender-specific stigmas requires targeted strategies that consider the unique societal pressures and expectations faced by men and women. By implementing these strategies, we can create more inclusive and supportive environments that encourage open discussions about mental health. Understanding gender-specific stigma. To effectively address gender-specific stigma, it is important to understand how societal norms and expectations contribute to these stigmas. For women, mental health stigma often revolves around perceptions of emotional instability or weakness. Women may be labeled as overly emotional or hysterical, which can minimize the seriousness of their mental health concerns. Men, on the other hand, face stigma related to perceptions of strength and stoicism. Admitting to mental health struggles can be seen as a sign of weakness, leading many men to suffer in silence. Creating safe spaces for open dialogue. One of the most effective strategies for addressing gender-specific stigma is creating safe spaces for open dialogue. For women, this means fostering environments where they can speak freely about their mental health without fear of being dismissed or judged. Support groups, online forums, and mental health workshops can provide platforms for women to share their experiences and receive validation and support. For men, creating safe spaces involves challenging the traditional notions of masculinity that discourage emotional expression. Encouraging men to talk about their feelings and mental health can help normalize these conversations. Men's support groups, mental health campaigns, targeting men, and workplace mental health programs can provide the necessary support and resources. Promoting mental health education. Education is a powerful tool in combating mental health stigma. By promoting mental health education that addresses gender-specific issues, we can help dispel myths and misconceptions. Schools, workplaces, and community organizations can incorporate mental health education into their programs, highlighting the different ways stigma manifests for men and women. Educational initiatives should emphasize that mental health issues are common and treatable, and that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Providing gender-specific mental health resources and information can help individuals recognize the signs of mental health struggles and encourage them to seek appropriate help. Challenging stereotypes. Through media. The media plays a significant role in shaping public perceptions of mental health. Challenging gender-specific stereotypes in media representations can help reduce stigma. For women, this means portraying mental health issues with sensitivity and accuracy, avoiding stereotypes that depict women as overly emotional or irrational. And for men, media representation should highlight stories of men who seek help for their mental health and show the positive outcomes of doing so. Campaigns that feature male celebrities or public figures discussing their mental health struggles can be particularly effective in challenging stereotypes and encouraging men to seek help. Encouraging peer support. Peer support is another crucial strategy in addressing gender-specific stigma. For women, peer support groups can provide a space for sharing experiences and coping strategies, fostering a sense of community and understanding. Women can support each other by validating their feelings and encouraging each other to seek professional help when needed. For men, peer support can be facilitated through activities that encourage bonding and open discussions, such as men's mental health retreats, sports teams, or hobby groups. Creating environments where men feel comfortable discussing their mental health can help break down the barriers of stigma. Advocating for policy change. Policy change is essential in creating systemic shifts that address gender-specific stigma. Advocating for policies that support mental health initiatives, protect individuals with mental health conditions, and promote equitable access to mental health care can make a significant difference. Policies that mandate mental health education in schools, provide funding for mental health programs, and ensure workplace mental health support can help create environments where mental health is prioritized and stigma is reduced. Advocacy efforts should also focus on gender-specific issues, ensuring that both men and women receive the support they need. Addressing gender-specific mental health stigma requires a multifaceted approach that includes creating safe spaces, promoting mental health education, challenging media stereotypes, encouraging peer support, and advocating for policy change. By implementing these strategies, we can create more inclusive and supportive environments that encourage open discussions about mental health. Together, we can break down the barriers of stigma and support the mental well-being of all individuals, regardless of gender. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you couldn't talk about your mental health because of what others might think, especially considering the expectations placed on your gender? It's tough, right? We all face different pressures, but sharing our stories can make a huge difference. Let me know in the comments below if you've experienced this and how you've managed to overcome it. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on our latest content. Until next time, take care.